This is America. The greatest atrocity against mankind. American chattel slavery. If you traced your lineage, what would you find? Do you know where your roots lead to?
Grace and peace, Black family. This is Vicky Dillard, your sister with the curly braids. And I want you to get ready for the new Master Elements project, The Spear and the Shield.
This vaccine isn't experimental. It's like a dandelion. You overlook it for they weird science.
DJ RP Beats and Sincereluvdagod have taken this time during the pandemic to carefully craft the soundtrack to Black empowerment, with hot tracks like God Mine, featuring Sadat X of the legendary group Brand Nubians.
We never die. I made an ancestral shrine. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen, I'm a law in the person of Sincereluvdagod. That mean your arms too short like Carl Anthony Shaw.
God painted me black.
God painted me black. Thanks for that. I'm a mention man.
A letter to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
I say to the ancestors. Dear Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, I just wanted to thank you for all the lessons you left us. So yes, I'm more than grateful.
And the controversial song Buck Breaking God Today.
Why every black show they gotta have a transgender? Either I'm crazy or this gotta be a planned agenda.
Get ready, Black family. This is a much needed project. This is The Spear and the Shield.
It is a shame for us, the original people of the planet and the creatures of Almighty God, a descendant of God, to be named after the creatures rather than after the Creator. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gives us an X, and that X in mathematics means the unknown. We do not know now what our last name shall be. We do not know what divine characteristic we will manifest so that we could be named according to the attributes of God. So we receive an X, and at some point in time, Allah or his messenger will give us a name according to that characteristic of God that is most manifest in us. So when we get our X or become registered followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the woman's garment changes first. Why does Muhammad change the woman's garment first? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that the woman and her dress can cause us to understand the degree of civilization and refinement of that people, and it can cause us to see what type of civilization that she represents. Anytime we see a black woman in a mini dress or skirt halfway up her thighs, which does not permit our beautiful black sister to sit down in comfort without men ogling at her beauty. This style, Messenger Muhammad teaches us, and the world of our kind bears witness, is an indecent style. It promotes filth and indecency. Therefore, Messenger Muhammad is a man who recognizes the indisputable fact that the black man can never be respected until the black woman is respected. For the black woman is the mother of civilization. And if our women are corrupt and cheap, she's going to produce a corrupt and cheap future for us. We don't want our women whistled at. We don't want men winking at our women, patting on our women, feeling on our women, disrespecting our women. Muhammad wants the black man to rise up as a man and respect and protect the black woman. But the black woman must be in a position to demand that respect. But she must first be self-respecting. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asks all black women, whether you're in the nation of Islam or out of it, lower the hem of your garment. Put on clothes, my dear sisters, that dignify you. You're such a beautiful creature. You don't have to show off the beauty of your form, because showing off the beauty of your form will attract a man to you in an indecent way. And when a man marries you for the beauty of your physical form, you must remember, my dear sisters, that time works on everything. And what was a beautiful form today may not necessarily be so beautiful tomorrow. So, if you gained a man by the beauty of your form, then when you lose that form, you may lose that man. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, cover yourself. And if you're going to attract a man, attract him on the basis of your decency, your righteousness, the nobility of your character, the majesty of your wisdom. And so in Islam, we cover the woman first because she is first. But the black man can wear a conventional dress as long as he's not way out. We don't like the styles that the white man is dressing the black man up in as a clown. He used to laugh at us and call us little black Sambo and show us all the different strange colors that Sambo used to wear and the stripes that Sambo used to wear. Now he dresses you up like Sambo, and you walking around with one red pant, one green pant, one blue this, one polka dot that. He's making a fool of you in the eyes of intelligent, civilized society. So, brothers and sisters, Muhammad is dressing the woman up, but as you can see, your little brother is kind of dressed up too. And it's a very nice style. It's not Eastern or Western. It's unique. The black man is 400 years removed from the East and 400 years buried in the West. He's unique too. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wants to style us according to our uniqueness, our unique position in history. And now the Honorable Elijah.
Do for self or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious. So I move. All right, family, we here. Peace to the family. Yes. What's going on, everybody? Let me get my stuff straight over here. All right, peace and welcome to another episode of SincereluvdagodCast. I am the God Sincere Love, and this is my lovely co-host, nyctegur. We are here on another Sunday. What's going on with everybody?
What's good, everybody? Look, we got a live chat today. Thank you guys for joining us this weekend. We appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love.
Absolutely. I see y'all. I like the energy early. Shout out to Jesse Paris, Kid Gravity, the beautiful Crown 808. Make sure that y'all pay attention to the links and stuff that she's posting as well. Shout out to Quatman, M. Flournoy. I think I said your name right. Make sure that y'all hit the like button, of course. Make sure that y'all share this out right now. Hit the share button right now. Let everybody know that we are live with another episode of SincereluvdagodCast. We got a lot to talk about today. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the subscribe button. Click the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new episodes. We do this every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. We be a little late sometimes, but you know, it'd be like that. It'd be like time. That. And make sure y'all check us out on Wednesdays and Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time for our weekly series called The Black Business Showcase, where we bring on business owners and entrepreneurs and chop up some good game about business. Who we got this week, Nicely?
We actually have our brother Jesse Paris for Denver mayor on this Wednesday. So excited to talk to him about his campaign. He is a reparationist candidate. So we definitely will be chopping it up with our brother, see what he's talking about for our folk out there in Denver and abroad. So make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good brother right here. Going to be coming through talking that reparations campaign business.
Yes.
So that'll be on Wednesday. Make sure y'all tune in for that. Make sure y'all tune in for that. Hey, yo, I seen some of y'all jamming in the chat while the countdown was playing too. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Oh, of course.
Man, y'all like that beat right there? A couple of y'all was asking me what that beat was from and all of that, man. Y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned. That's going to be off of a song called Sunshine from our new project, The Master's Table, coming real soon. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Me and my brother DJ RP Beats. I just came back from New York, man, finished up the recording process. We are going through the mixing stage now, mixing and mastering. And actually, we're looking for somebody to do the album cover for us. We got a couple of people in mind, but if you or anybody you know does cover designs and stuff like that, please hit me up. We're looking for somebody who could do some dope artwork for us. We got a great idea for what we want to do, and it got to be done. It got to be done right. So hit me up and let's chop it up.
Do some business.
Right.
Take care of some business.
Right. We got a lot of stuff coming up, man. We got the book. We got the children's book series with Crown 808 that we working on.
Yes.
All right.
So excited.
Yeah, definitely excited about that. We are in the beginning stages of that, but it's definitely in the works. So we got a children's book series with Crown 808. She was inspired recently by one of our recent episodes that we had. I think it was on the Black Business Showcase. I forgot who we were talking to. I think it was with Ken Stevens Jr. Shout out to Ken Stevens Jr. We had Ken Stevens Jr. on a couple of weeks ago or last week sometime. It wasn't even that long ago. And I guess she was feeling nostalgic because we all was in the ABS tribe together and all of that. And so she immediately started, putting some words to paper after that episode. And she ended up writing a story about my son, 7. Many of y'all seen my son come on here before.
Genius.
Right. My little man, the young God, you know what I'm saying? He's 7 years old, man, but he's an advanced learner. He's an advanced reader. He's advanced in math and science and all of those things. Like, we started him off early. He's been reading just as long as he's been talking. So, she was inspired by him and just everything all of the energy that we created here on SincereluvdagodCast. And she wrote the story, you know what I'm saying? And so we want to put it all together and bring it to market for y'all. So if that's something that y'all would be interested in, if y'all would buy the book, type a number 7 in the chat. Type a number 7 in the chat if that's something that you would be interested in. If you got some little ones at the crib or some nieces and nephews or something like that will be inspired, because the stories are going to be based around him and some of his interests and things like that. And so we're just going to create like inspirational stories for young children, young readers that they can enjoy. So they don't got to be indoctrinated with none of these agendas. A lot of times it's hard. You go up in the bookstores nowadays, you try to buy a book for your child and they got LGBTQ stuff in there and all of these other agendas that they're trying to push on the children. And so we just want to do something that doesn't have none of those agendas wrapped around it, something that's going to be edifying for the mind of our young babies out there. You know what I'm saying? So I see the 7s in the chat, man. So yeah, we're going to put that together, man. Stay tuned. We're going to create a list for y'all to be able to sign up to do pre-orders. So that way, once we get everything together, as soon as the book drops, it'll get mailed right out to you. So stay tuned for that.
I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm just excited to be a part of the process, So yeah. And thank you guys for your support. We appreciate you guys so much for rocking with us for so long. We had our 1-year anniversary.
It's today, really.
1-year anniversary.
Right, really. It's tomorrow. October 3rd was the first day that we launched together. We relaunched Sincere Love the Godcast together, me and nyctegur. And so today, this is our 1-year anniversary episode of Sincere Love the Godcast, man. So shout out to all our day ones that have been rocking with us. And shout out to all the newbies as well, man. We growing and we building.
Yes.
So we're going to keep it going. No website yet. No website yet. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Like I said, we're just in the brainstorming phase with the whole book thing and all of that. But yeah, all of that is coming. All of that is coming. We'll have some links for y'all, like I said, so y'all can sign up, pre-order the book, and like I said, you'll be the first one to get it as soon as it drops. So we're working on putting all that together now. You know, we're brainstorming as a team, and we're reaching out to other people that could bring resources to help us get it done. So that's gonna be what it is. That's gonna be what it is. And nicely, man, the episode that we had the other day with Brother Ben X. I was rewatching it today.
Did I bring you to tears?
Huh?
I said, did I bring you to tears?
No, you didn't bring me to tears, but I was cheesing though. I was cheesing. I was showing all 32 teeth. Because I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Because I know you probably weren't even thinking about that as a form of a business, as a way to create income for yourself or whatever. So I was happy that you could get that ABS experience, but also I was impressed with the clarity that you had. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's hard to get a person to that place to understand, you know, what it is that you do, what it is that you're good at, what's inside of you that can be brought out. But every question that he was asking you, without no hesitation, you was like, oh, well, I'm good at this. People usually come to me for that. And it just flowed. The way that it was flowing, I was like, oh, that was incredible.
It's funny that you brought it up because after that show, I reached out to Sincere and I was like, you know what? Because for those that don't know, I am an extreme introvert. And even talking to you guys on camera right now, I have the worst case of nerves. I start to sweat. I'm always worried about what I sound like. Sometimes I may stutter in between words, and I don't stutter by nature. It's my nerves. And so when we ended that show, I was like, oh my God, like I wasn't nervous. Like usually my heart is pounding. You know, I just go through this little anxiety. I don't know why. And then hopefully, you know, I'll get over it soon. But everything literally just rolled out my mouth sincerely. Like there was just no hesitation. I felt like it was one, I respect Ben X so much and what he does. And again, I feel like I was, you know, given a disservice by not being a part of the ABS tribe. And I'm happy that it's coming back. And I will 1000% be a part of the next round. I would not be missing that. You got my word on that. I would not be missing it. But I don't know if there's something about his spirit and his energy that just allowed me to freely say what I was saying. I didn't feel any shame, you know, about it. Like it just rolled, like no heart beating fast, no sweating, just nothing, y'all. Like it just felt so good to hear him say, well, this is, you know, what you're good at. This is your gift. This is what you should be doing. Even though I knew it myself, I never had anyone else tell me that. Even the people that come to me, I never had anyone say, you know, you're good at this. Like you should maybe pursue something in this. Maybe you should go to school, you know, to be a therapist. Never have I been told that ever. And so, you know, I respect the fact that he saw that. Everybody, you saw that. And yeah, I'm excited for what's coming.
Yep. That was dope. And stay tuned, Jesse. We're going to get on to Huckabee in a minute. We got a lot to talk about today. We'll get on him in a minute. But there's been a lot going on, man. There's been a lot going on. I don't even know where you want to start. I ain't got no links over here, nothing.
I mean, sure. I guess we can get into a little bit of the news, but then we're gonna go on and get into the topics at hand. And also, I want to say really quick before I start, thank you for the Cashapp. Thank you, Tracy Walker. Appreciate you and the love. And thank you for supporting the Godcast. We really appreciate that.
Yep.
Let's go here. I guess we can start off with, I'm just going to start with the bottom and kind of work my way up because I thought that this was very interesting and maybe even a clown show. So anyone of you here currently look at or in the past looked at Housewives of Atlanta?
Yeah, my wife watches it. I'll be seeing it sometimes.
So remember, not maybe a week or two ago, we had some video that surfaced with Portia Williams' grandfather, and he was kind of talking about Jesse Jackson.
I remember that.
Yeah, right. So I threw him in there just so people can remember. But his granddaughter, Portia, she posted yesterday, "Happy Independence Day to Nigeria." Happy Independence Day, Nigeria! Like shout out to that, right? My ancestral home. This girl is a foundational Black American. If she don't sit her ass down, I want to announce that I am officially Nigerian. I am 44% Nigerian. So basically, I guess she did her 23andMe. And so she's 44.1% Nigerian, 16.9% West African, and 39% 8 other ethnicities, it says. And then right after that, she and her fiance, Simon, who's Nigerian, was at some event with Stacey Abrams, looking like she got her clothes from the Goodwill.
Now, who is this? This is the granddaughter of
Yes.
What's his name? What's his name again?
I can't even think of his name right now, but yes. And then you can put it up. I think I put the screenshots in the materials, but yeah, she done did her 23andMe. She's engaged to Simon, who was married to someone else. Then they linked up. He's been married several times. I know he has like a ton of children. Not all by one woman, by the way, because they like to throw that baby mama, baby daddy thing on us. But yeah, so they're engaged now. So she's Nigerian now. Y'all, Hosea Williams, thank you for going. Thank you. She's Nigerian now. So I want her to keep that same energy though when we get our reparations though. Y'all remember that she's Nigerian.
Listen, because that's part of the game with all of these websites, these 23andMe and Ancestry, not the Ancestry.com, but the ones that do the DNA swabs and all of that stuff to trace your ancestry back. Like, you got to make it make sense, because if you doing a DNA test on a foundational Black American, meaning someone whose ancestors have been on this land for the last 400 some odd years, right? And you tracing it back to anywhere on the motherland, you going back, all of those years, all of those centuries, you going back. And at that time, there was no such thing as Nigeria.
Right.
So you got to make it make sense. Like, what do you mean Nigerian? There was no place called Nigeria during that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's part of muddying the waters of the whole reparations conversation also. Like, because if she could say that, there's white people that take those tests who have a certain percentage of Nigerian or Kenyan or whatever the case may be also. So now, are they going to be coming out saying, well, I'm this or that too?
And remember, they use the same genetic markers for everybody, right? So everybody is going to have a little bit of all of it anyway, right? So it's just, I just thought it was hilarious. I'm like, girl, sit down. You love your man. You know what I'm saying? You guys are engaged. I hope that you have a successful relationship, but fool, you found it, UFBA, and own that. That's all.
Wait, hold on. That's not Portia right there with the green on?
Yeah, that's her.
That's Portia.
That was her. That's Portia.
But who we talking about though?
We're talking about her. She's saying that she's Nigerian now.
She's the one that said that?
She's the one that said it. There's another link there, which you should see one of the screenshots that I put there. It has her saying that there's just a picture of him and her together. They both have green on.
Okay, because I thought it was somebody else you were saying that.
No, right there it is, that one right there.
Oh, they ain't gonna be able to see that on the screen.
Yeah, but that's the one I just read, where she says, "Happy Independence Day to Nigeria, my ancestral home. I want to announce that I am officially Nigerian. I am 44% Nigerian." And I don't know how to say that other word. ESO something. ESEOSA. How y'all say that? Oh, and she's a Yoruba bride. She's Yoruba, y'all. She's Yoruba.
Okay. And he's Edo. He's an Edo and she's Yoruba. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Congratulations.
All right. So,
by the way, that's paper independence, by the way. That's just paper independence.
Right, because
they
y'all still colonized.
Ran and controlled by Western powers, man, all day long.
Exactly. Mentally and
economically and everything that counts.
So I'm going to move on. So on Fox29.com, Delaware County man released from prison after 41 years due to newly discovered evidence. So Media PA, a Delaware County man is going home after spending more than 4 decades in prison. Leroy Evans emerged from the Delaware County courthouse to defending cheers of his supporters and the warm embrace of his wife. Attorney General Josh Shapiro made the announcement Friday about his office's conviction integrity section's relief of Leroy Evans. It was November of 1980 when Emilio Leo, selling Avon products, was bludgeoned to death in Chester. I don't know what Chester is. I guess that's a city there. Evans, 64, was convicted of first-degree murder in the death of Leo in 1981. According to AG's office, the primary evidence against him was the testimony of co-defendant Anthony Jones. Shapiro says over the past 40 years, Jones' testimony has been proven unreliable based on inconsistent recounts of events and several attempts to recount his original testimony about Evans' involvement. Basically, y'all can go ahead. Somebody lied. It took 41 years basically for them to figure out that somebody lied on this man. And so 41 years was stolen from him.
Right.
How often do we see, so often do we see stories like this? And in recent years, I'll say, we're seeing more and more Black men, get released from prison after doing, basically their whole lives pretty much being stolen. And in a lot of cases, they're not getting restitution depending on the state. You may or may not get restitution for this.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. We could do one of these stories every single week.
Right.
Like literally every single week, there's another one. Because I remember, and this is not really new. I remember 20 years ago when I was incarcerated, and we used to have a subscription to Jet Magazine and all of them shits. Jet Magazine come out every week, and they used to have these stories in the Jet Magazine. I think it was like a column dedicated to that. And I remember seeing them stories in Jet Magazine way back then about every week somebody getting released after being found out that they was wrongly convicted 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But that was like the beginning of some of these innocence projects and stuff when they first started coming out with it. So I think Jet did like a column dedicated to the Innocence Project or something like that. And every week somebody was getting released all the way up until now. We could do a story on that every week right here on the GodCast. It's crazy.
Now recently, and I want to say I don't know if that was this year or maybe even last year, but the Supreme Court made some type of ruling where even if, there may be evidence to support your innocence, that it cannot be re-reviewed or reconsidered or something like that. I remember something like that. I remember seeing that recently too. Yeah. And that's crazy.
I think that might have been in Florida. Don't quote me on that, but I think that might have been in Florida. They was trying to put something on the books where it was like, we ain't reconsidering nothing. If you got convicted, you got convicted. If we messed up, oh well. You've been here this long, you be all right.
Yeah, so, but he's out, and I hope that he gets every dollar he deserved, although he can never get 41 years back. He'll never get that.
Right. And I can't really speak to that experience, being wrongfully convicted and spending that much time incarcerated for something that you didn't do. But just for me, he didn't have enough smoke. Like when they asked him, like he was like, sometimes these things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like no, they just say some shit that just happened. Like these are not mistakes. That's the other thing to point out. These are not mistakes. Yeah. They railroaded these people in many cases through the system. They broke all type of laws and all of that to get these convictions. It's not like all they had was somebody's testimony who was proven to be irreputable.
Yeah. And again, I guess if you spent that much time in there, he's probably scared that if he say the wrong thing, they're gonna reconvict him or something.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I ain't gonna be too hard on him, but damn.
They don't beat him into, like my sister said, 40 years of slave labor and mental slavery because he was institutionalized, for 41 years. That's broken. That's a broken person speaking.
Good point. Flournoy.
All right. So I think I should have probably started with this first, but I'm going to go into it now. I want to say RIP to our brother Coolio, who transitioned last week sometime.
Right after we got off of here.
Just send our RIP. He's here. He's an LA native like myself. So, RIP to him. Prior to his, passing, he did a couple of podcasts and things like that, where he kind of made some statements about the industry in which he was in, how much further his career may have, could have gone had he did certain things, right? So anytime I see someone like a Coolio or anyone else that transitions so young, 59 years old is very young, to just drop dead. And again, I don't know the nature and how he died. That hasn't come out that I know of, but I just find it always suspicious when someone, like a Coolio suspiciously dies, unexpectedly. So, but again, RIP to him. Condolences to his family. And did you want to play that video?
So there hasn't been any updates on cause of death or anything like that?
Only thing that I know of so far is that he was found deceased on the floor, so it could have been a heart attack or something like that. But I have not seen any updates on specifically what his cause of death is or may have been. Nothing.
Okay, and so just to give an example of what my sister was talking about, some of the stuff he was saying in recent interviews, this is the type of shit that will put your life in danger. And this was on Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Shout out to those brothers over there at Hip Hop Uncensored who did this interview with Coolio.
Some shit like, wow, I seen some shit that made me go, what the fuck? Is this really happening right now?
Conversation about the gatekeeper drill, the rituals, things people got to do, blood sacrifice thing. I don't know if you got into all that, but can you kind of go there, being as though you were in the belly of the beast in the music industry?
I've read about all of that, and I only can say my truth. And you would think that with the height of success that I had and the things I was able to do, the amount of records I sold, and actually the amount of I don't want to say political power, but the amount of social power that I was able to achieve, you would think that I would be a prime candidate for just to be, so we could call it something, to be a member of the Illuminati or a member of the elite society or whatever. You would think that they would come at me, and I think they did it sideways though. Nobody never got at me directly and said, we want you to join us and we're doing this. That's never happened. But I will tell you, I've had motherfuckers come at me on some weirdo shit, like on some gay shit. I've had motherfuckers come at me on some, oh, you should do this type shit. And I was like, what? Man, why the fuck would I do that? That made no sense. I view that as being inhuman. I view that as I would never do that. So, and then right when there was some things that I was trying to do that I felt were important, things that I felt would help other people, shit started happening to me. Went to jail for some bullshit. Got convicted. Well, not necessarily convicted, but because I didn't do no real time, but little shit started happening, and I didn't even address the shit really, because who the fuck, and when you're a celebrity, bro, when something happens, whether it's true or it's not true, once it's been said, for most people it's true, because people don't do research to find out if something is true about a person or not. Whatever they hear, they deem it to be truth. So I didn't go hard on, oh, I didn't do that, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. It never happened. I just let the shit die down. continued on my life. Also, I'm at a point right now in my life where it's a lot of shit I know that I want to tell people. It's a lot of things that I want to teach, but I'm afraid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm scared because I got 4 grandchildren, and I got children that are in this world. I got people I care about, and I got people that I care about that don't necessarily believe what I believe.
Yeah,
and I'm not. I have no fear of death, and I think that those that would oppose my beliefs, they've probably done enough. If somebody's after me or if somebody's watching me, then they know enough about me to know that I have no fear of death. So killing me don't mean shit. It just confirms that what I said was true. But I do have a fear of them hurting my family. So I'm quiet about certain things. I don't talk about everything I know because I don't want nobody in my family to be hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to happen to my people.
Man.
I'm just saying, like,
Brother Coolio was getting deep, man.
Very.
Brother Coolio was getting deep, man. And, you know, that's reminiscent of, like, Michael Jackson. You know, when he was saying the things that he was saying about the industry.
Prince.
And, yeah, you know, we've had many artists come out, talk about, you know, there's a gay mafia. You know what I'm saying? I know many of y'all have seen the Buck Breaking documentary where they talk a lot about that. You know what I mean? I spoke about it on the song I did called Buck Breaking also. You know, he said he's seen a lot of funny style shit going on, and there were things that he wanted to talk about, and he was afraid to talk about it because not that he was afraid for his own life, but he didn't want nothing to happen to his family members. You know what I'm saying? Which is understandable.
Because sometimes these white supremacists will make an example out of your family to instill more fear in you, you know, to quiet you, you know. So, and I also, our brother Jesse Perez said that he passed away. They said from cardiac arrest. Again, why are all these black men, young black men, dying from cardiac arrest? And we understand diet and stuff like that, but he looked fairly healthy to me. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, his medical history or anything like that.
They said he was coming out with a vegan cookbook. So he was living a plant-based lifestyle.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? Like, and then he just at 59 years old, his heart is no good. His heart, you know, goes out on him. You know, I have to side-eye that. That's just me.
RP, rest in power to Coolio, man.
RP. So we'll go into maybe one more and then hit our topics. You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, because most of the stuff in the back is related to the topics anyway. All right, so 41 Northern California sheriff deputies stripped of guns duties due to unsatisfactory psych exam scores. And this is from ABC7.com. So Alameda, California, so anybody that's out here in Cali, 47 Northern California sheriff deputies were stripped of their weapons and badges over the weekend after an audit revealed they had received unsatisfactory scores on psychological exams. A total of 30 worked at the Santa Rita jail in Dublin, and 17 were assigned elsewhere in the county. The deputies were notified on Friday night that they could no longer make arrests or carry firearms following an audit of psychological exams dating back to 2016, in which the officers got the unsatisfactory scores. What took so long?
I didn't even see this story.
Oh, it's up there. Go up from the bottom. It's up there.
I haven't even seen this story, man. Yeah.
It's right above. No, it's.
No, I don't. It's cool. It's cool. You go ahead and just, you know, talk about it. But I'm just saying, like, I haven't even seen this story. That's my first time hearing this.
So again, you know, since 2016, they were recently stripped of their, you know, badges as well as their firearms. My thing is 2016 is too long. I believe that they should have random and psych evals probably maybe annually, maybe even every 6 months. And this, whether they're good cops or bad, because of the things that they see out there in the field, you know what I'm saying, could, you know, kind of psychologically damage you, just like, you know, soldiers, you know, people that, you know, are in our militaries. A lot of them kind of got mentally messed up from the things that they saw out on the, you know, in war, etc. And it could be a war field, war out there in these streets sometimes. I think that 2016 was just beyond. You know, they could have let them go right away. Should have, you know, immediately, you know, even if it was temporarily, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But they should have been relieved of duties right away.
That's
5
crazy.
years. It took 5 years for them to relieve them of their duties and take their. And now, with that said, you took their firearms from them as officers. Are they still legal civilian firearms carriers? Because I feel like they should be stripped of that too.
Hell yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you should, like, what about the civilian? As a civilian, are they still able to carry?
That's a good question, because shit, if you can't carry your firearm on duty, then you shouldn't be nowhere near a firearm.
Period. And also anyone that they've arrested. Like, we need to go back, you know, and figure out, you know, the nature of these arrests. Was there any biases in these arrests, etc.? You know, because, you know, psychologically you were messed up. And I don't know if that was, you know, they may be, you know, white racist cops. Let's be very clear. And, you know, when it comes to them being racist, they try to put it on some type of sickness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So this could be a situation. This could be one of those. Ain't no damn sickness. They just, you know, white supremacists. You're
right. That's one of them sick shits they be doing too.
Right.
Anything to not call it white supremacy.
Anything to not call it white supremacy.
Even though white supremacy itself is a mental illness, it is a form of you know, being a psychopath.
Right.
But that's, you know, they're trying to use it as a cover up. You know what I mean? To make an excuse for these extreme white supremacists, by the way. But yeah, so
I have to do one more. I forgot one more. I have to do one more before we get into the topic. Sorry, y'all. I want to shout out Coalition for Justice and Equitable California. So for about a month or so, there was calls, emails, etc. made, you know, as well as social media posts made to Gavin Newsom here, who's our our governor here in California, to veto AB 2296, which would have extended our reparations, you know, task force. They wanted more time for what? You know what I'm saying? Slavery was damn near 500 years. We've been oppressed over 500 years. There's no more delays. And unfortunately, there was a black raccoon behind this bill to try and delay it. But Gavin Newsom heard our, you know, emails. He heard our calls and he vetoed it. He followed the grassroots and decided to veto that bill to delay our reparations task force. So we're moving forward right now with the monetary portion of it. You know, what reparations should look like for Californians, money wise, education, medical, land, all that type of stuff. So right now we're in the money phase.
Right. And of course, we was going to talk about this. I don't know what you thought. You know what I mean?
You know what? I didn't know, because it wasn't on our little thing, and I didn't want to miss that. I definitely want to talk about, you know, reparations. You know, as they say, how California moves, so does the world. You know, so let's continue to push forward. Shout out to even the people that are not from California, who do not live in California, but you also made those calls. You sent your emails. You were tagging Newsom and his, you know, the people under him in regards to this veto. And obviously he heard it and he did it. And so, you know, I'll give him a little credit for that. There's other issues, Newsom, you're going to have to fix out here in California. You know what I'm saying? But we'll give credit where it's due.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, shit, you covered it pretty much. But yeah, it's just I put the thumbnail together kind of last minute today, and of course I can't put everything on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was really no main topic for today that I thought stood out. You know what I'm saying? It was just a few things that I wanted to talk about. And so yeah, we got the hashtag reparations on there. You know, we got hashtag secure the tribe on there. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about that whole debacle. You know what I'm saying? And more. And more. And so that the more we, you know, it's spelled Moore. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to address our brother. Shout out to Taharka Bay. We got to address Taharka Bay as well. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to the California Task Force. I'm not going to give no props to Newsom for that. I give props to the people on the ground who've been applying the pressure to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, there's a lot of other funny style stuff that Gavin Newsom is trying to push out there, and we could segue into that too, because there was something that Reza posted.
Yes, it was, and I actually put that in the materials as well. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of these degenerate, you know, bills that's getting passed that, you know, are directly, and you know, I feel like targeting our children, not feel like targeting our children.
Let me read that, and we talked about some of this the other day too. People in the chat was asking about this whole agenda, but yeah, we see a lot of stuff in the country begins in California. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They push stuff through in California as kind of like a field testing, experimentation process, and if it goes through out there, then it tends to spread across the country. So we always got to keep our eye on California. Yeah. And so Brother Reza, he posted this. He said, so the dictator, governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has reached a new level of insanity with his recent signing of multiple laws. Here are just a few: AB 2091, AB 1242, SB 1375, and AB 2223 all deal with expanding abortion benefits in some way, shape, or form. Remember, they do not care about women nor children. The goal is depopulation by way of lessening reproduction, referred to NSSM 200. AB 587 regarding social media. This law not only requires a platform to post their policies regarding the hate speech, extremism, and or misinformation, but it also requires companies to provide reports to California Attorney General's office on terms of service violation data and enforcement action. So that's basically, you know, them trying to censor us further on these social media platforms. They already be blocking Reza every other week on all of these platforms, you know what I'm saying? And people that be out here speaking the truth. This is just a way for them to further regulate information, you know what I'm saying? Because they've, with the advent of social media, they haven't been able to bend and shape reality at their will anymore, because we're not just subject to whatever the mainstream media is putting out. We have all of these alternative sources of information and news, like places like here, where you guys come to get a different perspective on what's going on in the world. And they're trying to regulate that even more. That's what these laws are about. So again, if we see this stuff start to get passed in California, we got to watch for it to come to a city near you, to a state near you. And so I'll read on. It gets better. AB 2098 makes it easier for the California Medical Board to now punish doctors who spread CV-19 quote unquote misinformation. So let us get this straight. We fought against SB 277 back in 2016, which removed the rights from parents and children to use religion/personal belief as a reason to not take certain injections. We then fought against SB 276 in 2019, which took away more rights from the doctors and parents where getting exemptions for taking shots are concerned. They have been working at this for years, and we have been fighting for years. So you're telling me SB 107 expands protections for transgender rights and services, including puberty blocking chemicals and genital mutilation services, but a doctor will be punished if he or she gives people the now publicly known and scientifically acknowledged truth about the CV poisonous shots. To every doctor/medical professional in California who still possess a level of integrity, now is the time to stand up and honor the oath you took to do no harm. Do not let the pharmaceutical-sponsored politicians intimidate you. You hold the authority if you unite and stand against this. A politician signing a law affecting the field of science and medicine scientists and medical professionals from all over California, the United States, and the world need to resoundingly reject this, seeing how it violates the very principles of medicine. This experiment has been exposed as just that, an experiment. 20,000 men and women were experimented on through the system of eugenics here in California, and nearly 75% of Californians, 29.2 million of over 39 million equals roughly 74.1%, took the poisonous shot equals we experimented on them. This evil has to be stopped. Doctors, stand up. Hashtag Reason Islam, intellectual extremists, our brother, always speaking truth to power and keeping us informed about what's going on this war front.
Exactly. And mind you, didn't Joe Biden say that the pandemic was over? So why are they still even pushing these shots at this point? You have companies and stuff forcing, you have companies that are forcing employees back to the office. Me, I still work, right? And so what my company is doing is having us come in 1 week per month, right? So I went the week before last, it was my week. That week, by Friday, guess what? They pulling everybody in the office one by one because someone there was had COVID. So they're asking you know what I'm saying? So people got to go home and stuff. So it's like you guys are forcing people, you know, to go in these offices and stuff prematurely. And then obviously whatever this COVID thing is not over yet. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, and obviously the shots are not working like you think it would because most of the people there have, you know, had it and you know, nothing is changing. So what is the point? What are we doing?
Right.
But your president said that the pandemic's over at the same time. These are his words recently.
I mean, there's been contradictions and confusion from the onset of this whole pandemic situation. You know what I'm saying? So what we're seeing now is not surprising at all. But it is I don't know, it's just very interesting to look at, man. When New York and California are very similar with a lot of this stuff. And when I was out there, man, talking to people, shout out to DJ RP Beats, he was telling me how him and a couple the people on his job had contracted the virus and they were told not to say anything. You know what I'm saying? They told them to stay home, you know, quarantine or whatever the case may be, but they wanted to keep it on the hush hush because I guess they didn't want to have to shut it down. He works in the school system, by the way. They didn't want to have to shut things down. And they said it had got to the point where they had the kids coming to school and the teachers were staying home teaching on Zoom. So the kids is in class and the teacher is on the Zoom.
What is the point of that?
Because of the funds. Because of the funds. They want to keep the funds flowing because if the school's closed, then you can't justify the food services and all these other places where funds get allocated to keep on flowing if the school is shut down. So they want to keep the school open. I don't know. It's some nonsense, man. A lot of the jobs out there.
Go ahead.
A lot of the jobs out there are still mandating the shots, even though, like you said, even though, you know, like Rita said, and like you were saying, it's basically been proven that they don't work. It's not stopping the spread of anything. You're no safer than someone who hasn't taken it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Their scientists are coming out saying this. We've been saying it all along, and people that we trust have been saying it all along. But even their people are now coming out admitting that. And so I don't see how a lot of these employers, particularly government agencies, are still able to mandate it. There's going to be some major lawsuits coming behind this shit.
But also money, because a lot of these employers are getting kickbacks from that COVID relief money, you know, for every person that they get to come and, you know, take that shot. Because even my employer at one point during the pandemic, they had, you know, the whole shebang set up there on the grounds, and you can come up there and get vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? Right there in the parking lot. So they're obviously getting some type of financial, you know, kickback for pushing the shit. So it's always follow the money.
Right. Facts. 41, 44. My dude, Derek, shout out to you.
That's right,
Shout out
Kid
to you.
Gravity. Facts.
Make sure y'all hit that like button, family. Hit that like button and share this out. So how many of y'all have watched the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix? I haven't seen it myself. I was about to say yeah, but I really don't plan on watching it.
I've looked at some of it.
You watched some of it?
I got it through about maybe 3 episodes.
What's your thoughts, man? I've been hearing a lot of pushback on this series, man.
I guess because I'm only gotten to 3 episodes. I don't know. Like, it's just like I haven't gotten to a point where they're like, I guess in the beginning they're kind of showing the end first, kind of, and then going into the story. So I haven't really gotten the gist of anything as of yet. My son and I were actually talking about it, today, because he was disturbed by some TikTok videos that he's seen with I guess the style of glasses Dahmer had are going for like $50,000 or $5,000. People are saying he's sexy and could rape them and stuff, and they're young people. And so he was asking me about that, and I'm like, what the hell? This is what our kids are seeing on TikTok. So yeah, I had to kind of sit back today. This was this morning, and have a talk with him about that type of shit.
And understand, media is warfare, family. And they've always done that. They've always done that with these white serial killers and things of that nature. Always tried to give them some type of sexy makeover. You know what I'm saying? I saw a TikTok video. I think it was on TikTok or Instagram or one of them, where there was a girl saying, am I wrong because I feel kind of bad for Jeffrey Dahmer? You know what I'm saying? And again, I haven't seen it, but I understand how film works. I understand how storytelling works and all of that. And if that's how they want you to feel, it's designed. It's not just you that's feeling that way. They designed it for you to feel that way. They know how to create a slant in the story to make the character be someone that you have sympathy towards. You know what I'm saying? Someone that you have empathy towards. They know how to slant the story in that way. And you have the original journalist who broke the story about Jeffrey Dahmer when the story came out in the 90s, saying, this is bullshit. Like, she don't even recognize, based on the series, she's like, she don't even recognize the real story. It's not there. They just fabricated everything. It's basically fiction. You know what I'm saying? It's whole fiction.
And not just that. Let's keep it. Also, let's go back to the fact that what is it? Let me get the story before I say it. So Netflix also drops the LGBT tag on the Jeffrey Dahmer series after viewer outrage. And so I think it was a Shade Room who also posted this story, about them dropping that tag on there. So I made a comment on their blog and said, well, they should put the tag back because representation matters. Right. And they could have easily kept the LGBTQ flag or whatever tag because he's a part of their community. That's not saying that you condone, what he did. You could have kept that tag up, but you can also put a PSA under there, condemning what he did, as a person that was a part of your community, but what I noticed is they don't want anything negative. They don't want anything negative or any person that's looked at negative as a part of their community. You guys, I've been going back and forth with people literally for 3 days, and probably going on my 4th day with these people tagging me after I said representation matters. I'm homophobic. Somebody told me that I was going to burn in hell with Dahmer. I'm going to read one comment right now. It says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You're right. I believe in God and you worship your God. Calling me Satan. I'm going to pray for your God to cleanse your soul because you definitely need it. And so I'm going back and forth. Calling me homophobic is not going to change the fact that this person was a part of that community. Period, point blank. Secondly, Black people do not have an LGBT community. There are Black gays, lesbians, trans, bisexuals, or whatever, but we do not have an LGBT community. That is for white people. Let's be very, very clear. And the thing is, a lot of those Black people that were killed, it went unnoticed because they were Black. The police didn't give a fuck. When their family members were reporting them missing, etc., no one gave a fuck because they were Black. There were several people in his apartment complex, etc., that were reporting this dude. He got away with it because the LGBT community is racist too.
Right. And that's the whole thing, man. I mean, you said a lot. That's the whole thing. That's the reason why they had a problem with the buck breaking documentary, because it exposes the racism that exists, the extreme racism, might I add, that exists in the LGBT community. It's not just Jeffrey Dahmer, okay? You got a lot of Jeffrey Dahmers and Ed Bucks out here. Shout out to Torian Rain. He did a story recently on his channel about another dude that really resembled Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know if y'all saw that, but if y'all not following Torian Rain's channel on here, make sure y'all go check out Torian Rain, man. He be bringing a lot of good information. But he did a story on another guy recently now whose story really mirrors Jeffrey Dahmer's story. And these people are allowed to get away with this type of stuff for years and years and years because they have protection. And the fact that the LGBT community was able to quietly get the LGBT tag removed from this series shows you how much power that they have. They claim to be so oppressed, but it just shows you that they do have their hands in control of the levers of power when it comes to these things. Because in order for the Black community to be able to get something like this done, there has to be a worldwide outrage. There's no way that we could quietly get something removed that we disagree with, that we think shines a negative light on our community or whatever the case may be. There's no way we could just make a couple phone calls and say, listen, that don't look good. Take that down. We got to be out in the streets burning shit down for something like that to get done. So that just shows you how much power that they have. You know what I'm saying?
And another thing, when we look at the bottom cast of our society, you know, one Black person do a crime is all of us. You know what I'm saying?
You got to wear that.
So what's the difference? And that's what I was, you know, I went back and forth with people for 3 days back because I felt petty, number one. And I'm just like, no, you're going to hear my point. You're not going to, just because someone disagrees with you or brings something to light does not make them homophobic. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is old, and I'll be called that all day. I don't even give a shit because it don't make sense. But what you're not going to do is, you know, every time someone says no, this is not right from that community, you can't just say you're homophobic without listening to my grievance. You know what I'm saying? You guys are quick to talk about Black on Black crime. What about the LGBT on LGBT crime? That's what this was. Well, I can't even say it was LBG on LB. Well, it was, but he was targeting Black people. He was a serial killer. He's a part of y'all community. Representation matters. Rep y'all trash too, like y'all forced us to do.
Right. And that term, you know, homophobic or homophobia that's just a weapon that they use to try to discredit people and defame people. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the term that the small hat community uses whenever somebody says something that they don't like. They're anti this or they're anti that. Right. And so quickly, family, I dropped the link in the chat for anybody that has seen it, that wants to hop on real quick just to give us your take. You know what I mean? I dropped the link in the chat inside the YouTube chat. If you want to pull up real quick and give us your take, you ain't got to come on camera. It's cool. I would like you to come on camera, but you ain't got to come on camera if you just want to give us your take if you actually watch the series. So I'll give y'all a couple of minutes to hop on that.
On here was, well, there's people that commit crime in all communities. Yeah. And as soon as it happens in the Black community, is what about Black on Black crime? Right? You know, we all get placed under that banner, period. And so they should have kept the tag up. I'm going to say it, and Netflix should have pushed back and said, no, this person is a part of your community. If you want to add a PSA or something under here, we gladly do that, but we're going to keep this banner up.
I agree. 100%. And so before we move on, again, if there's anybody that wants to say a couple of words about the series, give us your take on the series. The link is in the chat on YouTube. Before we move on to the next story, did you read anything from this article here?
What article?
The same thing. The
No,
Netflix
I didn't read. Want me to?
LGBTQ. Yeah, read some of it.
I can. Let me open it real quick. All right, you guys. So this was right. This is actually the one that I'm reading is the NewYorkPost.com. Netflix dropped LGBTQ tag on Jeffrey Dahmer's series after viewer outrage. Netflix is no longer using the LGBTQ tag on its controversial series about deranged serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer following a furious backlash. The streaming service has not given an official reason for dropping the tag on Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story in which Evan Peters plays the late Milwaukee cannibal who murdered and chopped up 17 men. However,
Mostly black.
Mostly black, yes. However, it followed several days worth of outrage online by disgusted viewers, many of whom tagged Netflix in their attacks. Why the F did Netflix tag Jeffrey Dahmer documentary LGBTQ? Because he's part of that in community. One person said on TikTok alongside images showing the old tag along others for emonious psychological and horror. I mean, I know it's technically true, but it's not the representation we're looking for, the viewer said underneath the let the lesbo added. So the person that said it, tag name is let the lesbo, Liz the lesbo, I'm sorry, added in the viral post. So basically, again, they don't want to be associated with anything negative when it comes to their community. As we always talk to point out, you know, every time there was especially a black trans person that died, you know, or was murdered. I don't want to say just died, but, you know, there was a few years back and recently where a lot of trans people may have been targeted and murdered. And the first thing that they do is try and drag black straight men. When 9 times out of 10, these people, one, were in sex work, so it's a risky job, and 2, they were murdered by white men.
Yes, and LGBTQ.
Always,
and the people that murdered them were LGBTQ because it's their tricks. It's their tricks most of the time. But they don't even want to own those people as being part of their community because of the crime that they committed. They say, well, those are straight men. You're not a straight man if you're sleeping with a trans.
Period.
You're not straight. You're not a straight man if you're sleeping with a trans. You're LGBTQ.
Period.
You might not like it, you know, just like when we point out people like J. Edgar Hoover, who targeted black organizations and individuals who were just trying to get justice and equality for black people, was part of the LGBTQ community. When we point that out, they don't like to wear that tag. You know, when we talk about some of the slaveholders during antebellum slavery who were LGBTQ, they don't want to hold those tags. You know what I'm saying? They like to dump all of the trash on the black community as they can, but when it comes to their own community, they try to keep it clean as a whistle. What's going on, Jesse Paris?
Hey, peace, Sincereluvdagod and Nasty Girl. So y'all talking about the agenda, right?
Yeah, he's talking about this Jeffrey Dahmer thing, and you know how the LGBT community doesn't want to be associated with the series all of a sudden, but he's a part of their community. Did you get a chance to watch it?
That's their boy. No, I haven't watched it yet, but that's their boy. They need to take credit for their boy because that's their community. That's what they represent. So they need to stop faking the funk and take credit for their boy. Oh, snap, Lady Chase in the building.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I was still backstage.
No, I threw you out there.
Intimidating little broadcast right here. My heart is just like pounding on my chest with anxiety.
No, relax. You good?
Nice to girl.
Relax.
Chatting.
I get the same way.
Sorry about that. Anxiety.
Have you had a chance to watch the series? Any of the series?
Yes, actually, I watched it today. I got about 4.5 episodes in. It started out kind of slow. I kind of just want to ruin it for everybody.
We don't care.
We don't.
Spoiler alert.
First of all, I don't like. I didn't like the story. Period. I didn't like the character. I didn't like him. I didn't like Jeffrey Dahmer. Period. You was not a fan.
Right.
I didn't dig the There's a lot of LGBTQ stuff going on in there. That's what it is. I didn't like the fact that he had a lot of necrophilia stuff going on after the fact, after he killed them. I didn't like how he was drugging them and then he wasn't even doing anything with them. He was just drugging them and ended up killing them. It's not like he had got any sort of gratification before he did that. You know what I mean? I didn't. It started the first episode. I ain't even gonna front. I skipped like maybe 15 minutes into it, just because I was about to fall asleep. I felt like the same character that plays that guy. I like him in American Horror Stories. I did not. I was like, man, he's unattractive in this. You know what I mean? He's just goofy. He's creepy. You know, he's just creepy. His father hates him. He can't do right. He's a fuck up from day one. You know what I mean? And I just was like, God, man, this story can't drag on anymore. And the fact that he just gets caught and he confesses, like, start to finish without anything. He's just, let me just tell you what happened. I was like, man, no suspense. At least lie a little bit. You know?
So, question for you: you said that in the movie, like they didn't show him, I guess, having any like sexual encounters with these men. Is that
everybody wanted something from him? Yeah,
right.
Everybody
but I feel
wanted
like
something from him.
they did that on purpose, though. I feel like that's what they wanted. So they're basically saying he wasn't gay. Right?
Yeah,
because if you're not, these people are going back home with you. These men are going back home with you, not to just hang up. My boy, we play basketball. We're about to go to the house and look at the game. He was meeting them at gay bars, and things like that. So again, I just feel like there's some type of agenda with that as well, that they're not showing him in any type of sexual encounters with these men. Like I don't feel like that.
They haven't going to we have them here. I haven't seen it like active, but we have one. They're like an adult swim club, like a male swim club for the men, to go partake or whatever. And they have him going in there a few times, and they show him getting kicked out because he's drugging men in there, and he leaves them. They're unconscious after he gets done doing whatever with them. He's just weird. They want something with him. He's acting like shy, timid through the whole thing. Like they push up on him. He's just like, oh, let's just take it slow. Let's cuddle. Let's move. Let's whatever. You ever heard of that? Next thing you know, he's drugging them, and he's doing all kinds of atrocities. Like, I mean, it's really disgusting.
Man,
it's a really hard watch. You really have to.
It was hard to watch.
Really
I haven't gotten that far. So.
There's only like 6 episodes that I've seen, and I made it through 4.5. And the only reason I stopped watching it is because I had other things to do. You know what I mean? I was going to try to finish it. I was going to challenge myself to do it. And so, I didn't like the story anyway, regardless. I didn't like him. I don't know why they would make a movie about this. It's trash,
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm trying to figure out, the angle. This, you know what I mean? What's the overall agenda? I always try to look at what the actual chess move is. And so, Brother Jesse, you didn't get a chance to watch it, but I know you're a high-level observer as well. So give us your thoughts, man. Even though you haven't watched it, give us your thoughts on just all the talk and everything behind it. Oh, it looks like his screen froze up.
We have different tastes.
Yeah, he froze up right now.
Oh yeah, he's at the Black House. The signal's choppy. But we have different tastes. Like I like to watch all sorts of things. So I don't think he would like it, honestly. I think that he would find it like, personally, we really can't watch things with white people. You know what I mean? Like, I can't watch it. It was a real challenge for me just to get through that.
Wow.
So we try to stick to mostly anything but that. You know what I mean?
But the thing about it is, even now, especially nowadays, when you see something that is marketed towards Black people and it has a cast full of Black characters, there's always some other type of agenda being crowbarred into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't watch nothing these days. Like, y'all noticed, I ain't seen none of this shit. I ain't seen an episode of this. I haven't seen
really bad anxiety
The Woman King. I have not seen.
You didn't see it?
What's the other one? P Valley. I ain't watched none of that. Like,
I can't get
all of the stuff that's popular. I ain't seen none of it.
I could mess with it. I have my moments, but but you didn't see the Woman King?
No,
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I saw that too.
I do want to watch that though. I am going to watch that when I get a free link. I think somebody put a link in here last week, but I forgot to click on it.
Oh, that was
I would say scrap everything you heard and just watch the movie.
That's what I'm going to do.
You know, like just your own opinion. It's like that's what I try to explain to my mate. You know, there's all this negative, and then there's some positive, but there's negative. There's some man hating. There's some, you know what I mean. There's all this stuff going on in the forums and whatnot that you kind of have a preconceived notion, you know. And so I say just take all that out and just, you know, watch it for yourself. It was kind of slow in the beginning too, you know, for me, but I kind of dug it. Not because it was not what the title said. You know, the title was like Woman King, but it was like a whole separate thing. I just think, yeah, of course, inaccurate. It'll just put it in the frame of movie. If you want it, you like it. You don't. You know.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to watch it just as a form of entertainment. I'm going to watch it for the purposes of decoding and all that. But I am going to give it my honest, fair assessment when I do watch it.
I watch it purely for
I'll probably talk it out here, and that's okay. That's fine. I'm pretty sure it's a good movie as far as that part of it goes. Just the entertainment aspect, the cinematography, the storytelling, the action. I'm pretty sure all of that is great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm taking a deeper look. You know what I mean? And I'll talk about it on here when I eventually get around to watching it. So y'all stay tuned for my take on
it. You guys, like, it's very intimidating. Come up here, like, just so you guys know.
Nah, you're fine.
I feel the same way every week.
It's just so intimidating. I just wanted you guys to know that.
I didn't do no glam today. I don't have no makeup on, y'all, and I came in and gave y'all bare face and glasses today.
I was on my way out, and I just decided to check the my feeds, my notifications, and I saw you guys were live. Then I kind of perused. I just turned it on, and I heard that you were talking about the Dahmer series. I just, you know, chatted in. Usually I just catch it, and right then and there, that's when I'm putting a comment up. So I didn't catch the beginning half or the beginning. What is it? Yeah.
Go back and watch the replay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that. Make sure you
go back and watch the replay.
I already shared it. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in.
Yes, no problem.
All right. And shout out to everybody hitting the Cashapp as well too, man.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Derek Walker.
Yeah, 4144 Theory. Appreciate you, Tracy. Appreciate you. You know what I mean? Definitely much appreciated. Somebody said Woman King was trash.
Yeah, I just you know. I couldn't get into P Valley. I looked at. I want to say, it's probably been a couple years since, you know, maybe the first season. And I tried to look at it.
It's been out that long?
Maybe a year and a half, y'all. I'm kidding you not. I could not. You know, and the storyline made the acting and stuff. I'm not going to say it's not good, but the gay stuff is heavy. It's heavy. And the thing is, they're tying in the gay stuff into hip hop. Mm-hmm. It's the hip hop artist, you know what I'm saying, who's hard, you know, with the tats, and you know he doing the gangster rap, but on the side he up in bussy, like yeah, like it's so I could not, you guys. I mean, if I got through a couple episodes, 3 episodes or so on P Valley, like I checked out. It's heavy.
All right, so listen. We almost an hour and a half in. We got the update on P&B Rock. You know, they said it was a 17-year-old dude that did the shooting, and his father was actually the getaway driver.
And stepmama is arrested too.
I didn't even get that part.
Yeah,
what stepmama got to do with it?
Arrested. I think she was arrested first, if I'm not mistaken. Then they got to him, and then they found his father in Las Vegas.
Man, yo, this is a tragedy on top of a tragedy on top of a tragedy. Like, come on, man, what a failure!
The failure, and so again, though, I still want to know. So he was following something, still ain't adding up for me. The math still isn't mathing, because although he went to eat at the most ghetto Roscoe's there is, y'all, I don't go there. The reason why I don't go there is because literally in the parking lot, there is just ninjas everywhere. They looking crazy. They staring at you when you get out. And it's in a big shopping center with other, businesses or whatever. It's kind of downstairs in a corner. They have like a hair salon and stuff upstairs and stuff. It's just a plaza. But there's literally riffraff right in the parking lot as you're driving by. When you pull up in that it's just I'm from here. I don't want to be over there. Not going to eat because you don't feel at ease, because looking at these people, these brothers, hanging out there, you just know that no good can just follow them, and you can kind of get in some type of crossfire. I feel like the owners of that plaza or whatever should have pushed that riffraff out of there a long time ago, because it's just bad for business. It does not.
So you said, are you putting a nuisance injunction on the owners?
I ain't trying to put a nuisance injunction, but honestly, all BS aside, like, they're not there to support any businesses. They're literally just hanging out, like, period, y'all. They just chilling in the parking lot, and it's a small parking lot. Parking right there sucks anyway. It's literally on the corner. And it sucks already, but you guys are just sitting here and you're not going to the restaurant. You ain't in the hair salon. You're not going to any stores. Y'all just sitting up here literally chilling. When you get out your car, you kind of feel, you feel unnerving, because again, I don't know who's following this fool. Like, he looks like bad news. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I don't like to prejudge my people, but if you're just sitting out here all day doing nothing, loitering, and they're not like trying to clean that up, it's just not bad. It's not good for business, period. It's one thing if they were doing security, if they were valet, something. They just chilling.
Really? Is it this messy out here? It's a shorty was messing with the dad? PNB Rock shorty was messing with the dad?
For me, it's just not adding up. Even if the dad was a getaway driver, okay, we're gonna push that to the side. I don't know how the stepmom was involved. My thing is, how did they know that he was there?
From what I saw, they were already in the parking lot when they came. From what I saw, like you said, people be hanging out there. I don't know what exactly went down, but from what I saw, the dad and the son were already there.
So y'all just see this brother pull up in a nice car and some jewelry, and I'm just gonna run up in here and kill you. Like, you could have got the jewelry and still left. If it was just a robbery. If it's solely a robbery, get that shit and get out. So the murder itself isn't adding up to me. Why? Who sent you?
You're 17, man. You're 17. You know, all your faculties is not in place. Your decision making is not even developed yet. You know what I'm saying? And you got your pop sending you on a mission like that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Your daddy sent you in here. Y'all didn't talk about what's going on. You just go in here and get the jury. It seemed like the brother.
Even if that, what I'm saying is, even if that was the plan, when you in that moment, it's a split decision in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Your adrenaline is on high, your heart is racing and all that. Maybe that wasn't the plan. But I'm just saying, shit turned left real quick.
It turned left as soon as he got in there. He's like shot him right away.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
I mean, from the video.
All I know is, man, to me, the dad should get more time than anybody in this situation.
Allegedly the son had just gotten out of jail, I guess a week or two prior to this incident happening. So he has been, a menace to society for a long time, obviously, because he had just gotten out. He obviously his father obviously isn't raising him properly, because he assisted, in this murder. He's an accomplice in the murder. You know what I'm saying? And your son, just 17 years old, just got out. What's going on at home?
Right, man. Ain't no home.
Nah. Daddy grimy, and then dad tries to flee, to Vegas. Literally everybody in Vegas, y'all, pretty much that's recently moved out there from LA. You know what I'm saying? Vegas is little LA now.
Let me get this joint pulled up. Lizzo.
Oh Lord.
Real quick.
Oh Lord.
Lizzo.
Oh Lizzo. Sis. I'm just going. You said her name while you're pulling her up. I'm gonna just say this. Lizzo is a very talented, beautiful sister.
I disagree.
She play the flute. She can play the flute. That's a talent. I don't have it. I don't know how to play an instrument. I believe that anyone that can play an instrument of any kind, that's a talent. She's talented. I'm not going to take her talents that she has away from her. But all that mammy stuff, bucking of the eyes, and I'm not weight shaming anyone, because, what I'm saying, I feel like I can lose about 10 pounds now myself, what I'm saying? But this ain't right. Like, we're just not going to be promoting what looks to be, because I don't know her medical history, obesity to our people. We're just not going to promote that. This is not about fat shaming. What I'm saying? Everybody got to go through their journey, with health and stuff.
All right. So let's just talk about the flute situation. Let's just talk about the flute that she was playing. It was a 200-year-old flute that was owned by who? James Madison,
a racist, white supremacist,
former slaveholder.
Yeah,
James Madison. I think this is it right here.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
It's just.
And I just want to talk about the way that the media is trying to spin this thing, right?
And because also white people's reaction to it.
That's what I'm saying, because you got a lot of white right-wingers who feel a way about her playing the flute. And so, again, when we criticize it from our perspective, they're trying to lump us in with the right-wingers and say that, we're either racist or fat phobic.
Yeah, fat shaming.
We're either racist or fat phobic. There's no way around this. You're not allowed to criticize Lizzo. She's protected. But what justification? Hold on. I'm trying to get this pulled up, y'all.
Lizzo has done a lot of questionable things, though. You know what I'm saying? When she went to that Laker game with her ass out, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be clear. Again, it's not fat shaming, but your ass don't look good. It is. I said what I said.
And this is the thing. This is why I said, I'm like, you say she's talented or whatever because she know how to play the flute. Ain't nobody getting put on because they know how to play a flute. Ain't nobody getting put on. You got plenty of talented musicians out there that play all different type of instruments. Nobody is being made a superstar because they're good at playing an instrument. I don't care what instrument it is. Not in this day and time. There's no more Miles Davises, you know what I'm saying, Coltrane's and all of that stuff, who are real geniuses at what they do, who are getting the spotlight like that. So this is obviously an industry plant. She can't sing. Okay, she looks a hot damn mess. She's not talented. She's not talented whatsoever.
She can play the flute. She can play the flutes.
I could go to a fifth grade recital and see somebody play the flute just as good as Lizzo.
Listen, I was trying. I'm tired of her bucking her eyes. I'm tired of all the degenerate.
They're protecting the whale. It's the Save the Whale Association. Lord Jesus.
It's the antics for me. She always got her ass out. She's always, gabbing her legs.
It's that Venus hot and tot. It's that Venus hot and tot. Sarah Bartman, Mammy, prototype. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? She's being paraded around as a sideshow. You know what I'm saying? And she knows it. She's willing. She's willingly participating in this because she's never gotten the type of attention that she desires. So any attention will do. So she's playing it up. She's playing up the stereotypes. And so let's read some of this.
It's embarrassing.
Lizzo plays James Madison's crystal flute while racists play dog whistles. The problem people are having with Lizzo has nothing to do with the flute or its history. It has everything to do with the fact that she's a black woman playing a flute that belonged to a slave owner. Now, let's just unpack that. That's just in the title. That's just in the title subject. So you're trying to convince us that there's no problem with a black woman who is playing a slave owner's flute. That's supposed to be something empowering. for black people.
Yes. Yeah.
That's supposed to. They're trying to spin this to for us to believe that this is something that's supposed to be empowering for black women.
We're in
that she's out here looking like a
society.
sideshow playing a slaveholder's flute.
Yeah, yeah. We have broke down the racial walls because Lizzo played a white racist flute. Yeah, racism is over, y'all. That's what they want to tell. That's the message I'm trying to. That's the message that they're trying to give to me.
And at the same time, pushing a gender divide. There's just all type of agendas attached to this. I have bad news, America. Our country has apparently been ruined because Lizzo played an old flute nobody knew existed. So mind you, this is the left-wing media putting their spin on it. So right, nobody knew that the flute existed. I agree with that. No, we didn't know about the flute, right? And so y'all put that out there, knowing what the reaction was going to be. Nobody had to mention anything about the flute if that was the case. She could have just played the flute, and nobody in the media could have said anything about it being James Madison's flute, and we wouldn't be talking about this right now, right? But y'all purposely put it out there that it was James Madison's flute, knowing the type of backlash that it would receive. So again, that Hegelian dialect thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I forgot how you break it down. But they put something out there that they already know what the reaction is going to be, and then they come through with a solution at the end of it. Problem, reaction, solution. There you go.
And correct, Kid Gravity. Someone in here name a Lizzo song right now, because I can't. I ain't gonna lie, I can't.
She's trash, family. She's trash. Let's just keep it a buck. She's trash. She's trash because look. You got talented women out there who maybe heavy set or whatever the case may be, talented black women who are heavy set, who have real talent, who have never been given this level of spotlight. Right?
Because of their weight.
Right. Specifically because of their weight. They told what's going on, Afro Elite. They was told that Jasmine Sullivan had to struggle with her weight because she wasn't getting the shine that she was supposed to get. Beautiful sister. One of the best singers in the world. Yeah, Jill Scott didn't get this amount of shine and all of that because, you know what I mean?
Wait. Angie Stone. We can go on and on. And these are very talented sisters. Very talented sister, but they have been given this commercialized, opportunity that this not so talented Lizzo has been given.
Love Jill Scott, of course.
I love Jill Scott. That's real talent too. Real talent. Kelly
Samachia,
Price,
I think I'm saying your name correctly. Samachia makes a very valid point here because the flute is also a phallic symbol. It's a phallic symbol as well. So metaphorically, she's playing his flute. Okay, don't miss that. Don't miss the bedwinch aspect of the game out here.
Interesting point.
All right. Afro Elite, man. We about to transition into this secure the tribe fuckery that's been going on. You know what I mean? We have been getting some necessary straightening over the past week or so, which I'm happy that it finally took place. We talked about this months ago. We were calling out the bullshit months ago. You were one of the key figures in front of this thing. So I dropped the link. That's just for you, Afro. Nobody else touched the link. Afro Elite, if you got time, hop on real quick, man, and let the family know what's been going on with this necessary straightening surrounding Secure the Tribe and the nonsense that's happened in last couple of days or whatever.
And
but
for y'all that
you can set it off, nicely.
Yeah, I was telling. So as everybody knows, Sincere was in New York, finishing, putting the finishing touches on his album that's going to be dropping soon, The Master's Table. And so a lot was going on and he was missing a lot and stuff. And so I'm trying to, send him recorded messages of my voice telling him what's going on and keep him like, oh my God, like it's unraveling. It's just basically, as everybody know, our brother Tariq Nasheed was in Atlanta doing the Revolt Summit. And so there was also the pull-ups that the Secure the Tribe folk were doing all across, the United States or whatever, going to different, I guess, federal buildings or whatever to raise, with bullhorns and signs talking about reparations.
But it wasn't just Secure the Tribe too. There were other organizers around the same time that were doing
that I agree with,
demonstrations.
but they're the only ones that's screaming about it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so mind you, the one in LA, I went to, you guys. I pulled up. It was supposed to be from 2 to 5. I pulled up at 2:51. I actually reached out to our back channel and said, "Hey, you guys, I'm here, down here, but it's only like 3 people." So I circled around a few times because I happened to be downtown that way shopping for my son's homecoming thing. So we were down there anyway, and I was like, I want to support Dewan. So I had told our family here that I was going to go to support Dewan since he posted it. I pulled up at literally 2:51. There was like 3 people there. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just circle a few times. It's downtown, first of all, so parking, everything sucks. I'm circling around or whatever, kind of waiting for people, I guess, to come in. We're already an hour basically in. No one is here, so I leave. I don't even go. I was like, well, shit, ain't nobody here. It's homeless people out here. It's literally a homeless lady on the grass, you guys, butt crack naked, playing with herself. So it's really not safe down there anyway. But because no one was there, I pulled off. And honestly, I'm happy that I did, not because I just felt like if I did stay, if I was say in one of the photos with Dewan or any of the other, 6 brothers and sisters that was there, I would feel like it wouldn't have been
shade.
It wouldn't have been like received right, because Nordos was there. Nordos is also our sister who organized basically the Power 106 situation, to bring attention to their anti-Black racism. And so they were like, she's there and she's only there for a photo out. She don't support. Then you could have Tyra Perry out there, who we know that don't even really F with FBA. She out there with her horse teeth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, shit, it's just worked out that I wasn't supposed to be there. And if I was there, it wouldn't have been met with gratitude. I don't feel like it would have been met with any type of gratitude. So their grievance is Tariq didn't shout it out. That's their grievance. Tariq. Oh, not just Tariq. I want to rephrase that because they're saying it's not just Tariq. It's all of New Black Media. So that will go for myself. That will go for Afro Elite. That goes for Kid Gravity. That goes for TBA. That goes for Professor Black Truth. Everybody.
Vicky
Dillard. They're going in on everybody because no one shouted them out. My thing is do the work and you're going to get whatever, grace that you're supposed to get from that. You're going to get that. A lot of people have only known of you since January, you know what I'm saying? And let's be very clear, a lot of us are still vetting one another. So you're not going to, even if Tariq has allowed you and Professor Black Truth have allowed you to, or Jason Black, I should say, have allowed you to speak on spaces and things like that, we still don't know you. You know what I'm saying? And it's, and not just that, a lot of us have been in a lot of those spaces and have been met with disrespect. Not me personally. I have not, but I've been in spaces where I've heard the disrespect. I've heard them say, fuck B1. I'm B1. So you already said, fuck me. So why would I on my platform be like, okay, well, let us make sure that we're shouting out Secure the Tribe, in the New Black Media because they're doing reparations pull-ups.
All right, hold on.
You said fuck me.
Hold on a second. All right, first of all, before I even go in, I see you back there, Afro Elite. I'm pull you up in a second, brother. First Woke Media, yes. The freestyle that you heard on my page that will be on the album. It started off as a freestyle, but it's actually a full song produced by DJ RP Beat. So it's not going to be on that Dr. Dre beat that y'all heard the freestyle on, but it's actually a well-produced song by DJ RP Beats. It's going to be on the Masses Table. The song is called Revenge of the Akata. So speaking of getting some straightening, yeah, Revenge of the Akata will be on the album, so stay tuned for that. But also, I wanted to just say, yeah, we've been calling out the nonsense that we've seen coming from Secure the Drive for a long time, because we knew that, number one, they weren't on the same page as us. They weren't on the same message as us.
Change the message.
And we always felt from the beginning that there was clout chasing going on. And there was even questions of whether some of them were even FBA or full FBA or not. We did a broadcast on here 7-8 months ago called $5 FBAs, where we were calling that out. So go back and watch the $5 FBA episode that we did, and you'll see SincereluvdagodCast, we peeped game a long time ago. And this is the reason why y'all haven't seen me like that in a lot of those Twitter spaces. You know what I'm saying? Because on purpose, on purpose. You know, I was like, this ain't for me. There's a lot of conversations and bickering and shit happening here that I don't really want to be associated with. I don't even want to absorb into my spirit like that. And so I kind of fell back a long time ago from that situation. And I knew that what's happening now was going to eventually come, because it was like ADOS all over again. It was like ADOS all over again. We seen something that looked like it was about reparations. The family got behind it. The real grassroots got behind it. It kind of blew up. And then when it turned out to be something else, we pulled the rug from underneath it and it fell apart. And that's exactly what we see happening now with this whole Secure the Tribe thing. So let me get Afro Elite on here, because he's been involved heavily with this whole thing since day one. What's going on, Afro Elite?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're good. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I got a meeting in a few minutes, so I don't have a lot of time. I just wanted to get on because I was invited and explain some of what's been going on. For me to piggyback off of what Nicey said, most of what they call pull-ups, which is kind of really rallies, most of that was poorly organized. None of it was sabotage. Nobody talked negatively about it. Everybody here wants reparations. But if we're going to be honest, just like Sincereluvdagod said, everybody's not on Twitter Spaces anymore. A lot of their behavior and their antics in Twitter Spaces have turned people away from Twitter Spaces. So if the only times you guys are even talking about it is on your Twitter Space that only has like 100 people, then that means nationwide only 100 people know about it.
Right.
That's why it was such a poor turnout. When people went there, it was only a handful of people there, because 100 people divided over 20 states is not a lot of people whatsoever.
Right.
And they were upset because they wanted a handout from Black media. They wanted a handout from B1 Society, which is ironic to me, because they're the ones who burned that bridge. It's not because we hated on them. It's not because we were jealous because they trended. In fact, a lot of us was happy for that. We were happy to help push the message of reparations. We were happy to help push the message of delineation. And I use that word cautiously now.
I feel you.
But we were happy to push that message. They're the ones who took it into a completely left field direction. When then they started saying, B1 only applies to Black Americans, foundational Black Americans.
Right.
And that's when we really that's when the biggest pushback was, because that's not how we roll. That's not our ideology. Right. And then they turned around, and instead of respectfully saying, you know what, I respectfully disagree, which we still kind of would have fell back, because we can't promote somebody who's promoting a different ideology. However, we still would have supported when need be. However, they turned around. They were saying F B1, F Jason, F everybody who's B1. So when you burn all of them bridges, the people you're complaining about who didn't help with the pull up or who didn't advertise the pull up, they're all B1. So when for several months you're going around saying FB1, then we all take it like, okay, well, that's fine. Then you guys do your thing. And they did their thing, and they didn't have the support. They felt like they get to disrespect people, and people still have to support them because they claim to support reparations. Yvette Carnell and Antonia Moore claim to support reparations. They don't get support from this side. We're not obligated to support anybody. So Tariq Nasheed is not obligated to shout anybody out. He would go around shouting. When you step outside with a reparations picket fence, he's supposed to put you on his platform? Like, come on.
The crazy thing is, though, he actually did shout them out.
That was the cold part right there, even on Revolt TV. And because y'all jumped out the window prematurely, You know what I'm saying? You didn't even give yourselves a chance to hear what he had to say. So you shot yourself dead on arrival.
Listen, if it wasn't for Tariq Nasheed, and I always tell y'all, I don't gotta speak for Tariq Nasheed or defend Tariq Nasheed. He's very good at doing that on his own, and we're gonna get into that when we talk about Tahaka Bay as well. But if it wasn't for Tariq Nasheed, Secure the Tribe would have been dead in the water a long time ago. The fact that he's been bringing them onto his spaces and shouting them out is the only thing that's been keeping them afloat these last 8-9 months. Because from the beginning, many of us already peeped game. These dudes are on something else. They're not talking about what we're talking about. You know, they're using some of the same words, but they're not talking about what we're talking about. A lot of us peeped that early. And the only thing that has kept y'all afloat, if you're listening, is Tariq Nasheed. So that was your last bridge to burn right there.
Hence why they would come in here and say, oh, yeah, what's up, Tariq fam? Yeah, man, secure the tribe at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't see
Not
that.
only
It was crazy.
was it the viral space that Tariq pretty much carried. Tariq carried that viral space from the second he got in there. Not only that, it was Tariq also going in their spaces, shouting them out, because wherever Tariq goes, there's hundreds of people who are going to follow. So like the next month or two, Tariq keeps going in their spaces and shouting them out. That keeps their name trending. That keeps their name big. It wasn't just that viral space. Tariq had given them several handouts after that.
Right.
But thank you for inviting me on to speak. I have to go. I appreciate you guys. You keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Likewise.
And so what's so crazy too, what they were saying is, you know, people such as Afro Lee, who has a great large platform, his spaces, you know, attract a lot of people as well. Beatzilla, Black Alpha Network, etc. And so what they were saying was, you know, they're not about reparations. They're only about building their YouTube channels. But y'all got a YouTube.
Hey, listen,
I'm just saying.
That Yaya roast was legendary.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
That Yaya roast was legendary, man. And I don't know too much about her. You know, I learned a lot over the last couple of days. I didn't know too much about her like that. Only thing I remember seeing is when she posted that weird shit about the Confederate flag, though. I think she had that.
She said that's our flag. She was saying that's our flag. Like, what is you crazy?
Right. I went the other way as soon as I seen that. So again, that's all I really known about her. But man, that was a classic roast.
Yeah, it takes a lot for me to even speak on a lot of stuff. I literally just typically sit back and observe, and I have to be really, really moved, you know, to jump in a space and say something. And I had to in a few of them because I guess I'm disappointed, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, the goal is reparations. The goal is tangible specifically for our group. You know, and so when you have these beefs that's going on, and I don't want to call it infighting because I'm just kind of over that word, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you have detractors, because those were detractors, you guys couldn't have really been, you know, for reparations coming in trying to change the message around under the guise of reparation and under the guise of support. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just disappointed that we couldn't all just get behind the message itself versus trying to individualize it or trying to format a separate group or something like that. Like, if it's not broke, you know, don't try to fix it. Just, you know, add what you're going to add, you know, to the movement. That's all we need to do. But we don't need to have all these chapters. Because to me, like you brought up with ADOS and the chapters, that's kind of what I feel Secure the Tribe was trying to be, another chapter, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Remember, you had
a lot of them are former ADOS, so it makes sense.
Right. And you have, remember, there were spaces where Mel was trying to charge people to come up and speak. You know, I don't know if anybody here remembers that. You know, he instantly jumped up, and I ain't knocking business because we do a Black Business Showcase. So, you know, I ain't knocking business, but he immediately went and he trademarked the name Secure the Tribe, you know what I'm saying? And also, as our brother Afro Lee said, the pull-ups were poorly organized. And they also got mad at Tariq for calling it a rally versus a pull-up. So they basically said that wasn't showing support because he didn't actually say pull-up, he said rally. And he's explained the reason why he said that. If you go back to a year or 2 years ago when we were talking about pull-ups, we're talking about people, Black people specifically, pulling up on white supremacists that have, done something to us. So when you're using, you can't organize a reparations rally under the name pull up, because it kind of comes with aggression. When we're talking about pull-ups, you're talking about being aggressive against white supremacy. We're organizing a rally to push a message, to the powers that shouldn't be, about reparations and us getting tangible. So,
facts.
Yeah, it's wild.
Nice. And so, what's going on with Tahaka Bay, man? We like Tahaka Bay, man. First of all, shout out to Tahaka Bay, man. I do like Tahaka Bay and some of the work that he does over there. But we're at a point of contention as far as these last few broadcasts that he's done talking about FBA. My problem with it is that I don't believe Tahaka. I know you watch this, brother.
Yeah,
I don't believe that you are as naive or as ignorant to what's really going on as you're pretending to be. And so that tells me that it can only be a couple of things. You know what I mean? Either it's just a form of clout chasing, you're just doing it to get the clicks because it's a hot topic, or
you're part of the alphabet people.
I hate to say that. Is it that, brother?
Yeah.
Is it that, brother? Did somebody send you?
Right. Who sent you?
Did somebody send you to try to cause confusion? Or it could be a third thing too. It could be a jealousy thing. Yeah. It could be a jealousy thing. You know what I'm saying? Because the FBA movement is gaining so much momentum, and there's even a lot of people who are part of the Moorish Science Temple who are waving the FBA flag, who are saying FBA. You know what I'm saying? And so perhaps there's a bit of jealousy that's going on because you feel like it should be you and your message that everybody's getting behind. Everybody should be waving the Moorish flag, and you see too many people who were waving the Moorish flag now starting to realize the potent message that FBA is pushing. Could it be that? Right. I see a lot of people in the chat are leaning towards jealousy. A lot of people in the chat are leaning towards the jealousy aspect. Bro.
Remember, I said that from the beginning because I felt like his timing of going at FBA was right when Tariq announced that he secured that building for the museum. And the first thing that he came out with was, who is FBA and how does a museum liberate our people? Well, fool, how you liberating our people? Mm-hmm. The Moorish Science Temple of America been around before FBA became a thing or anything else. So what you do? Mm-hmm. And why haven't you organized around reparations? And what pissed me off today, he did a TikTok and he started talking about stop asking for handouts. And that right there really pissed me off because now you sound like white supremacists. Now you sound like
we're going to go in on that because I want to talk about that. But let me just give it a little bit of context too. So the last couple of weeks, like I said, he's been on this topic, so-called exposing FBA, trying to associate FBA with some type of alphabet boy situation or whatever the case may be. A lot of funny style shit, right? And so one of the broadcasts that he did, I hopped on there. We had a decent discourse, you know what I'm saying, back and forth. There was some other brothers on there that was doing the good work. I forgot the young brother's name who went on another episode after me, him, Jesse Paris. A couple of y'all went on there and were spitting hot fire, poking holes in all of his arguments and all of that. And so after that, I thought, because he even said a couple of things that sounded like he was conceding, saying, you know what, y'all making a lot of sense. I see where y'all coming from. He said a couple of things to that effect. And so I thought that was kind of going to be the end of it. He had some questions. I was taking them in good faith. And so I'm like, okay, he had some questions. A couple of us got on there, answered those questions. And so now he's going to move on. But he's been doubling down and tripling down ever since then. And so I hopped on one of the recent broadcasts that he had. And was I going to say? I hopped on one of the recent broadcasts that he had, and he did. At the end of it, he never allow me to speak. Right? I hopped on backstage. He saw me come on, and at first he said, "I see you back there, Sincere. Let me talk to this brother first. I'll get you on because you're respectful." That's what he said. And so I'm sitting backstage. I'm waiting to get on the mic or whatever the case may be. He finally brings me and a couple of other people on at the same time. And when everybody got on, everybody was kind of talking over top of each other and all of that. And I was sitting there quietly. Now I'm gonna do a separate broadcast breaking all of this down. So stay tuned for that. I just haven't had time to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so while everybody was on there speaking over top of each other, I was sitting there quietly, kind of just waiting my turn. And so after a while, I realized, okay, he's not gonna give me a turn. I'm gonna have to butt in like everybody else is doing. So one of the brothers said something about he was making he was co-signing what this British white woman was saying on CNN when she was talking to Don Lemon, and they was talking about reparations, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, you gotta go back to the beginning." And it was Africans who were selling other Africans, and this brother was kind of co-signing that argument, and that's when I butted in, and I said, "Listen, can I respond to that trash right there?" And immediately he kicked me out the room. He took me off the broadcast and he kicked me out of the room. And so I said, all right, that's fine. It's his platform. He doesn't have to allow me to speak, but I'm going to do my own broadcast. I have a platform too, Tahaka. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do my own broadcast and I'm going to break down all of the garbage that he was saying in that broadcast. And so what happened was I created a flyer. I was in New York. I was in New York. And like I said, I was working on the album, me and RP. I was visiting family and stuff like that. So, and plus we had the Black Business Showcase. So I really didn't have no time to do it when I wanted to do it. But I created the flyer and I sent it to Nicety and our team in the back channel. And I guess Nicety kind of got excited and she put it out there on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he saw the flyer. And so he comes in my DM. Let me put this up here. This is the flyer right here, by the way.
It goes down in the DM.
So this is what it's come to now, huh? Man, I don't know what's going on over there at Morris World TV, but it seems like our brother Tahaka Bey is just determined to sow seeds of dissension and cause confusion. We're gonna have to get this thing together, man. Ain't nothing but a little bit of straightening. Pull up on me, man. I'm gonna be live breaking this whole thing down. SincereluvdagodCast. Y'all know how I do it. All right. So Nicety throws that out there. He hops in my DM. He said, "Hey, you want to get this debate? You want to get this debate?" And Tahaka, I hope you don't mind me sharing with the conversation in the DM. It wasn't nothing real private that we were talking about.
He'll share yours, so share it. He all right. He shared everybody else.
Yeah, we wasn't talking about nothing private. You know what I'm saying? Nothing personal or anything like that. And so I'm just sharing, giving people context. That's all. He said, "You want this debate?" I said I would, but you don't like to maintain order, and I don't want to have a screaming match. To be honest, you already said what you said, and I have enough to pick apart your argument, which I will be doing. And then I sent him the flyer. I said, "No disrespect to you at all. I have nothing against you personally." And so he said, "No, I mean a real debate with moderators and time and all of that." And then he says, "My name only works on my show, LOL." Which is a projection because he's implying that I'm trying to use his name to clout chase. That's the implication there. He says my name only works on my show. And he said, "I have a unique format. Good luck with that." So he's implying that I'm trying to use his name to get clicks because that's what he does.
That's what he
does. That's a whole projection. That's a whole projection, but that's not my mindset. I'm not here for the clicks like that. Of course, we all trying to build our platforms. We all want views, of course. But like I said in the other broadcast, I need the right type of people to tune into what I'm doing. I don't need just any and everybody over here just so it could look like my channel is popping. I need the right type of people. I don't want the riff-raff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my purpose of doing this broadcast and creating the flyer was to just bring clarity to the conversation because you do have a certain level of influence. There are people out there who listen to you, and everybody is not a critical thinker like that.
I was one.
Right. So I just said, stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. So he says, "Yeah, bro, I'm 5 years in." Okay. Whatever that
I've been
means.
FBA all my life. I was born FBA, so what you talking about?
All right. So what y'all think? What y'all think? No, he was talking about me. He was talking about debating me, Sour God. He was talking about debating me. So I want to get y'all thoughts in the chat. Y'all think I should do a debate against Tahaka Bey? He said he wants to do an official debate with a moderator where we both got a certain amount of time to speak and all of that. Not no screaming match like he likes to do on his channel where he doesn't give you the opportunity to complete your thought and make a full statement. He just likes to talk over top of people and all of that. I told him I didn't want to do that. So he said, no, he wants to do a real debate where we have a moderator. Everybody, we each have our allotted time slots to speak. Do y'all think I should do the debate? Type a number 7 in the chat.
Well, they typing in number 7. I just feel like, though, Tahaka is the type of person, from what I've observed, is he's the type of person that thinks he's the smartest Negro in the room because he understands, I guess, the more science and stuff like that, and whatever work he claims to also be doing on the ground. He has all the answers when it comes to politics. Like, he's just a type of person, you know, who literally thinks that he has all the answers. And I don't like that because, you know, you have great perspectives and things that you can, and then other people have great perspectives and things that they can bring. And if we meet, you know, in the middle, we can build something great. But your way is just not the only way or the way, because if it was, it would have already been liberated, you know. And then also, I have to segue into what he said about, you know, the handout part. I like that. But I've been watching him for a while. I've supported him for a very long time. I like a lot of the stuff that he puts out, the receipts that he puts out. I'm going to sway on the side of clout and jealousy, as well as everyone in the chat, because timing is everything for me. And as soon as Tariq closed on that building, he jumped out the water. I'm sliding towards, you know, clout and clout.
Wow, some chick named Star.
You know what? Also,
I
said debate your equal. Oh wow, I like that, sis. I like that. I was surprised because and I've been you know, following her for a long time. What's her name? Queen Amadea. She had a thing flyer on her things and was like, yeah, I support my brother, you know, Tahaka Bay, and I don't feel like it's about sides, you know, in this, and I don't want it to be about who's, you know, picking a side. It's not about side. It's about, you know what I'm saying?
Logic.
It's about reparations.
Truth.
It's about FBA. It's about not trying to make us a group. It's about not trying to make us, you know what I'm saying, box us into this thing that we've clearly said we're not. It's about not trying to make Tariq a leader. He's already said he's not. I don't look at him as my leader. I do look at him as a teacher. You know, he is literally a historian. You know, because of him, I have, you know, a library. You know, because of him, I've been made aware of ancestors and other scholars that I'm able to study now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I look at him as, a source of information, a source of a book to go to or something like that. And yes, I support him 10 toes down. And I'm not going to change that, you know, because of a Tahaka, you know, putting out misinformation about us as FBAs.
Facts. All right. So we're going to see about this debate situation, but I am going to still do the broadcast, just deciphering what I heard him saying on that broadcast when he wouldn't let me get on. I do want to unpack some of the things that was said on that broadcast. So one day this week, look out for that one. One of these days this week, next couple of days, I'll do that broadcast, going in on that. And then we'll see about organizing the debate. I'm with that. And I'm not even, you know, I never even debated nobody formally. You know what I'm saying? That's not even my arena. I know that that's something that he likes to do. That's his thing, or whatever the case may be. But I have the truth on my side. So, you know, I'm not here for nothing else. You know what I mean? So I'm not really worried about that. And Jesse, I seen you hopping backstage. We'll get you on Wednesday, man. Make sure you got a better connection on Wednesday for the Black Business Showcase. Make sure that you ain't at the Black House and your connection is straight, so we could chop it up real good for the Black Business Showcase. And we'll get into some of this conversation. I know you want to talk about the whole Tahaka Bay thing, because I seen you on there giving him that work also. And so we'll give you an opportunity to speak on that on Wednesday as well. So just make sure you got a good connection for that. All right.
Yeah, but it will definitely be fire. I think that you're equipped with enough truth, you know, to counter any of his talking points, because again, his talking points, you know, from what I've heard, you know, his last couple broadcasts just didn't make sense. He's basically doing what all of the, you know, white supremacists do, you know, that we see in these spaces and stuff. So, you know, it's nothing new, nothing we haven't seen already. You know, it's nothing that hasn't been debunked already. Is the thing. Everything that he said has already been debunked already.
Right. You late to the party, man. You should have been hating 2 years ago. You should have been hating 2 years ago, right? You know what I mean? With those old talking points. But let me go back to the channel. Where's that?
Correct, Danielle. I said that he thinks he's the smartest Negro in the room, and that's exactly his attitude. Although I've supported his content, I've always felt like
I still support him.
Feels like he's the smartest Negro in the room.
I still support him. We're not going to agree with everybody on every single thing, but
I don't agree
I
with
rock with him.
Doing.
Yeah,
that's
I
brother,
rock
but
with
I
him.
don't like what he's doing. Period.
He's shed some light on some issues and made me change my mind on some things. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
Speaking of,
there's no disrespect.
Speaking of, because while he was, going in on FBA, I don't know if you guys saw, or if any of you follow him, but Malik Zulu Shabazz said that, and I'm paraphrasing, that FBA sounds like some type of bootlicking. I don't know. He said something negative about FBA. Now, he has literally been silent, quiet until Tariq closed on this damn museum. Now you have Tahaka, who's also has several videos breaking down some, questionable things about Malik Zulu Shabazz, kind of being with them alphabet folks, several. So I just found it quite interesting that, both of them kind of at the same time simultaneously were going after, Tariq in a negative way and about FBA.
She said, well, also, I can't stand him.
Some of those, right. And a lot of those pull-ups, by the way, they had the new Black Panther Party out there. Now, the new Black Panther Party, the head of the new Black Panther Party, although they have individual chapters and stuff like that, the main head is supposed to be Malik Zulu Shabazz.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I ain't tapped in with them enough to know exactly where they coming from with this angle. Nothing. And all of that.
They out there with bullhorns and marching and ain't doing nothing either. Let's just be clear. Nothing.
I just want to talk about real quick. I just want to talk about this TikTok that Tahaka did recently. He's like I said, he's still going in on FBA.
Poking the board. He's still poking the bear.
Right. And now again, I told y'all I was never here to try to defend Tariq Nasheed. He's very capable of doing that himself. And after he got finished with the classic roast on Yaya, he also gave a fair warning to Tahaka Bey to stop poking the bear. So I wouldn't advise it, Tahaka. I wouldn't advise it. I'm just telling you, brother. I wouldn't advise it unless you just like that. Any type of attention will do. If any type of attention will do, keep on going. Keep on going, because I'm here for the entertainment value that will come with. I'm here for the entertainment value that will surely come with. Tariq is a funny dude. And Tahaka kind of funny too, but Tariq is a real comedian. Tariq is a real comedian. I don't know if you want that kind of stuff.
Tahaka Bey actually said on the one where he did with the I guess when you were allowed to speak, so the one before the last one, he kind of acknowledged that he was FBA.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I put him in that corner.
Acknowledged that he was FBA.
I put him in that corner real smooth.
Yeah.
Real smooth. And because that acknowledgement just goes to show that your argument is in bad faith. It goes to show that you do understand what we're saying and that it's not a group. You know what I'm saying? And so this was his TikTok that he did recently. Let me see. Oh, damn. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
TikTok. Stop playing the blame game. We got to do a TikTok. Stop with the blame game. Stop with the blame game. Get some food on the shelf. We got to do a TikTok. See, the thing is, you want to blame everybody else for your problem. You want to blame the Mexicans. You want to blame the Hispanics, Spanish, whatever. You want to blame the Jamaicans. You want to blame everybody. But you ain't did this yet. When you do this yet, then you can talk. Then you can stop. See, stop blaming and complaining. Then you do this. Put something on the shelf that's yours. Create your own. Create your own. Gotta do a TikTok to AKBAM. Shout out to FBA. Love y'all. But stop playing the blame game. This the AKBAM gotta do a TikTok. Back again, gotta do a TikTok. Stop playing the blame game.
All right.
So he doesn't understand politics then. He clearly has zero understanding of politics and how we have systematically been, pushed to the back for these very groups that he's naming. Like, so you're not as smart as you think you are, Tahaka Bey.
Yeah, man, because number one,
and when have we stopped building ourselves? When have we not been building? That's another question I have for him. And when you do this debate, we have questions here, and if y'all want to put some questions here that our brother can refer to and write down for when he prepares for his debate, because that question of when have Black people not been building? When have we not been trying to build something for ourselves? And majority of the time been sabotage. But when have we ever stopped building for ourselves?
Right. Also, there are foundational Black Americans currently who have food products. Master P, his partner, Snoop just came out with something. You know what I mean? And these are just the celebrities that we know about. You know what I mean? But there's also a brother who is lesser known, who was a former NBA player, but he wasn't an NBA superstar. He didn't even make that much money in the NBA. And I can't remember his name. Some of y'all might know who I'm talking about. But he was an NBA player from the late 80s, early 90s, who didn't have a big name like that. But he took his money that he made in the NBA and he started a food distribution company, which is one of the most successful distribution companies in the country right now. He's a foundational Black American as well. What's up, George Vega? Shout out to my dude, George Vega, in the chat, man. That's my guy that held me down while I was in New York, man. He allowed me to use his spot at the J Vega Barbershop, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Making a brother feel at home, man. Shout out to you.
I need that gold microphone, Vega.
Right.
I need that microphone.
Right. E40 is another one. Right. There's plenty of people who are out here doing things like this already. That's one thing. The other thing is the only reason that the immigrants have the opportunity to even have these products on the shelves in the stores in our neighborhoods is because it was foundational Black Americans who fought for them to be able to come over here to do just that. The opportunities were created by us. Okay. Right. And then they turn around and disrespect us and give us their ass to kiss after we're the ones that lifted them up. We're the ones that go in the store and buy their products. Right. We're their economic base.
Right.
And so, all we've been saying is, okay, everybody do them. We haven't disrespected anybody. All we've been saying is, okay, that's how y'all getting down. Y'all been getting down like this. Our bad. We thought it was a coalition going on here. My bad. Right. Okay, so this is how it is. Y'all do y'all, and we're gonna do us. That's all we've been saying, right? And this is what has people up in arms. But also, what I want to respond to that garbage that he just tried, that point that he tried to make about we need to get our own food on the shelves and comparing us to these immigrant groups, and talking about what we're not doing and all of this stuff. Another thing that I want to use to shut that garbage down, because that's been shut down decades ago by the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King, of all people. The Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King blew holes in that argument decades ago. So let me skip past this commercial, and I'm gonna let the King speak. All right, here we go, right here. We go right here. Oh damn! What was the timestamp that I told you it was?
1324. 1324. Okay. I know it off the top of the dome.
Okay. Okay, let me get to the right spot, and I'm gonna let the King speak. All right, Tahaka, this is why you can't use that argument, Tahaka. Foundational Black Americans are incomparable, and we unfuckwittable. Understand that. When you talk about foundational Black Americans, you can't compare us to no other groups. Like in the beginning of this broadcast here, I started off with the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we know he's non-FBA, whatever the case may be, but he was raised up by a foundational Black American, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Right. And he definitely be one all day. And like he spoke in that clip, he said, you know, the style that the men are dressed in the Nation of Islam is not Eastern or Western. It's unique because we are a unique people. After being removed 400 years from the West, we have become something different. We have become a unique brand of Black people here in the Western Hemisphere. And so he gave us a unique look to match our uniqueness as a people. Right? So let's play the words of the great Dr. King right here, man. Talk about some immigrants. Let's go.
And I must confess that I think they're in a very small minority. I think the vast majority of white Americans will go but so far.
I think it was 45, but it's coming up.
Of installment plan for equality, and they are always looking for an excuse to go but so far.
Why are they looking for the excuse? What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
That's a part.
So isn't that what Tahaka Bay's question is?
Right.
Isn't that the same question that Tahaka Bay is asking in that TikTok video? Every other group seems to get around it. What is it about you Negroes?
Right.
All right. Well, go ahead, Mr. King.
Part of it, and that grows out of something else. You can't thingify anything without depersonalizing that something. If you use something as a means to an end, at that moment you make it a thing and you depersonalize it. The fact is that the Negro was a slave in this country for 244 years. That was a willful thing that was done. The Negro was brought here and changed, treated in very inhuman fashion. And this led to the thingification of the Negro. So he was not looked upon as a person. He was not looked upon as a human being with the same status and worth as other human beings. And the other thing is that human beings cannot continue to do wrong without eventually rationalizing that wrong. So slavery was justified morally, biologically, theoretically, scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma, and that can never be overlooked. So I think these things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
You know what I'm talking about?
Right there.
And so this is why it's disrespectful to compare us with any of these other groups, because again, shout out to Dr. Ma'a in the chat. I see you, beloved. Appreciate you tapping in. Of course, shout out to Show Us Show as well. Appreciate you. But yeah, these people, you know, they come over here again based on programs that we fought to get put in place. You know what I'm saying? Based off of us knocking down all of the Jim Crow and all of the stuff that existed. You know, we did all the heavy lifting and the hard work to clear the path for them to come over here to have the opportunities that they have. But also, these people are connected to a homeland mass. Like he said, when we were set free from slavery, we weren't given anything. So we're not connected to any land. they're connected to their homeland where they're able to do financial trade and business, you know what I'm saying, with the homeland, with the places they came from. Also, these people oftentimes still have their culture and their language intact, which is something that was stripped from us, that we've had to rebuild and redesign and become something new over and over again. But still, in spite of all these things, we have continued to build. We have continued to do good business and all of that and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps in many ways. We have done those things. So to say, oh, FBA, stop complaining and do the same thing that you see these other groups doing, that's a bad argument, Tahaka. I just got to say that's a bad argument. That's a played out argument.
Played out and bad and disappointing that is coming out the mouth of a foundational Black American. You know what I'm saying? And let's be clear, if you're talking about the people that's sitting around at Home Depot and Lowe's, you know, hustling for jobs and stuff like that. Now imagine that being a whole bunch of Black men out there loitering, basically, you know, in front of those businesses. It will be a crime. There will be some type of legislation against that. They will be getting arrested every single day. So again, these people are allowed. Let's say it again, family. Let's say it again, class, together. These people are allowed to come here and build. That's why they are allowed to come here and be in a better economic situation within 5 to 10 years. And we're still in the same, you know, we're still at the bottom economically, you know. So yeah, that was just a bad argument, bad faith, bad argument.
And again, we don't knock them. We actually support their businesses. We are their economic base. To our detriment. To our own detriment, we have supported these people, and we're now just starting to realize, you know what? This is a bad deal.
Right.
This is a bad deal. This is a one-sided thing. There's no reciprocation going on, and so now we're just saying, okay, we falling back from that. This is not a good deal for us. We're going to do our own thing. Now everybody else got to do their own thing as well, and now we're being accused of being hostile because we're doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And not just supporting their businesses. It goes deeper than that. Politically, you know, we've been supporting candidates and policies that, you know, that was a detriment to us as a group.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's more than just, you know, supporting their businesses. It's, you know, politically as well, to our own demise.
Right. Right. So yeah, man. Like I said, I'm gonna do a full broadcast breaking down what Tahaka Bey was saying. And since y'all said I should do it, we're gonna see about organizing the debate with him and I. You know what I mean? Just to get some clarity and just to get some of these things straight. It's no disrespect at all. Again, shout out to Tahaka. I rock with Tahaka. I still subscribe to his channel and I like his stuff.
Likewise.
We just don't agree on this right here, and so we're gonna have to talk about it. That's all.
That's it.
That's all. But yeah, man, we've been on here for a while, man.
We have. Well, you know, it feels, I don't know why, but after Thursday, it feels like so much time has gone in between, you know, our last broadcast. And I think sometimes, like, you know, the conversations just be so interesting and fun to talk about, even though, you know, and shedding light to our family, you know, and also seeing everybody in the chat, supporting the channel, supporting, you know, like just the feedback, the interaction that we're getting from everybody. Like, I vibe off this. So I just want to say once again to the chat, thank y'all, to our moderators, some chick named Star, Crown 808. I love you, sisters, and thank you so much for your weekly support. We appreciate y'all.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And again, you guys remember, like I told y'all, for those of y'all that wasn't tuned in at the beginning of the show, we are working on a children's book series with our sister Crown 808, one of the moderators in the chat. She wrote a book, you know, inspired by my son, inspired by one of the recent broadcasts that we've done. You know, she made my son the main character in the children's book that she wrote. And so we're in the process of putting that together and getting it published for y'all. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. And like I said, we'll have a pre-order that y'all can sign up to pre-order the book before it begins to drop soon. So stay tuned for that as well. And make sure that you guys go stream the music, man. Master Elements album, The Spear and the Shield, is available on all streaming platforms right now. Go check out the music, man. Get in tune with me and my brother DJ RP Beats, because we have a new project called The Master's Table that we just finished the recording process on, And this is gonna be another. It's gonna be another heat banger for y'all, man. I gotta say it. This one, I don't know. I think we might have outdid ourselves. Just listening to some of the playbacks, and it's not even mixed and mastered yet. So I'm listening to it just raw material. You know what I'm saying? And I could just imagine after RP and my dude Portier put their touches, put their magic on it, what it's gonna really sound like. So the Masters Table is on the way. Be on the lookout for that. Plandemic, the song Plandemic is streaming right now. Go play that as well on your favorite platforms. DJ RP Beats, Sincere Love to God.
Hip hop, real hip hop.
Absolutely. And shout out to all the supporters, man, hitting us up on the Cash App as well. If you appreciate the GodCast and you find value in our content, please show your support via Cash App, $ Sincere Love with the number 7 and $ NYCTEEGUR. The support is much appreciated. That kind of does it for today's episode, right?
I think it does.
Where can you get a physical copy? A lot of people have been asking about physical copies. We're brainstorming on this right now of what we're going to do as far as physical, tangible items that we can release with the new project. All right, 4144 Theory, you're not the only one that's been asking. People still want to be able to have something that they can hold as far as the music is concerned. And so we're brainstorming some good ideas to be able to have something that you guys can purchase and actually hold in your hand when we release the new project. So stay tuned for that as well. Stay tuned for that. I appreciate you asking that. Anything else? Oh, we already told y'all we got Jesse Paris this Wednesday for the Black Business Showcase. Our B1 FBA brother, he's running for mayor out there in Denver, Colorado on the reparations platform. So we're going to get all up in his black political business and get down to what that's all about. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate you. We love you too, Virgo Venom. She said, I love this black FBA family. Thanks to my sister, Dr. Ma'at. Dr. Ma'at, I appreciate when I see Dr. Ma'at hop in the chat, man. You know what I mean? Even though I get a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh shit, we got the master teacher here.
I started sweating when I saw her. Nervous. I was like, Dr. Ma'at. I saw her name. I was like, oh shoot. But thank you for the love, sis. Appreciate you tuning in. So really quick before we go, Live Long 6 says that do not waste your time with Tahaka Bay. So we have someone who says that it's a waste of time going, talking to Tahaka. But, even if it may be a waste of time to some, it still will bring some clarity. So, it's more about bringing clarity, to those that are interested in, being clarified, we're not going to get to everybody, and that's not even the motive. You know what I'm saying? As long as we touch somebody, that's what it's about.
Right. And that's the thing, family. My goal is not to try to change Tahaka Bay's mind. You know what I'm saying? Tahaka Bay is going to do what he does, and we appreciate what he does for the most part. But he's going to do what he does. Mm-hmm. But the people that I'm trying to reach are some of the people in the audience. Some of the people who are genuinely confused. I'm here to bring some clarity for them. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's important to do it. You know what I mean? It's not about trying to change Tahaka Bay's mind. You know what I mean? But I think it'll be fun also. It's something that I haven't done. Like I said, that's not my lane. That's not my arena. I'm not the great debater. But you know what I mean? I'm gonna step out and see, how my sword is. You know what I mean? On that debate stage. And so with that being said, family, that does it for today's episode of Sincere Love the GodCast. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new episodes of Sincere Love the GodCast. We do this every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. And you can check out our weekly series called The Black Business Showcase, Wednesday and Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And remember, we are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new black media. Peace and black
Not yet.
love.
Most resilient. Dr. Ma'at said we can live stream it and set it up in Baltimore and live stream it. Hold on, that's.
Whoa. Listen, that's what I said. Let's talk about it. Let's organize it. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. All right.
Ashe.
See how we can get that done. Peace to the family.
Most resilient, we poster children of prophecy fulfillment. We gotta be God's children.